So here's what we got so far. Grid 100 squares across, 50 squares tall, 1000 by 500 pixels. And I got a little blue dot showing our current location, and we are currently facing east that way. Keyboard with some arrow keys plugged into the propeller, and then out the Bluetooth to processing. So currently, I should probably add, it's extraordinarily late right now, and I'm very, very tired. Arrays make your brain hurt. Alright, so basically, as I drive this little dot around with the arrow keys, if we're facing east and I hit the up arrow key, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to turn 90 degrees. We're going to do everything in 90 degrees, I've decided. And then this down here will reflect our turn. And then only after we've made the turn can we travel again. So I'm kind of trying to think about how I'm going to send data to processing as we go. Basically, we've got, I'm going to break it down into two steps where we're going to travel at probably given distances. And like for instance, we could shoot our forward sonar and get an idea of basically if the sonars are forward and they're both clear with the spread, Walter will fit. So basically, we'll shoot our front sonar and get an idea of how much space we have to work with. Let's say it's a lot of space, so we're going to go ahead and travel. So we'll go down, that open corridor, and every given distance, or if we encounter an obstacle, we'll go ahead and stop and then do a full scan with the laser, and then send that data, the mapping data, over to processing. The laser is going to do a 90-degree sweep, basically 45 degrees either way, as opposed to a 180-degree sweep. So it's just going to cover the front of the robot. So my theory is we'll do our initial rough check. Is there anything ahead of us? Do we have room to go? And then after that, we'll flip these guys sideways. So these are now side sensors. And every foot as we travel, every foot off of our encoders, we're going to go ahead and fire our side sensors, and we'll go ahead and we'll update either side of Walter as he travels every foot with those side sensors. So that'll go ahead and basically cover our walls, because obviously we follow walls a lot. And then every time we stop or at a predetermined given distance, we'll go ahead and stop and do a proper scan with the laser. While we're just traveling and the side sensors are doing their wall detection for the mapping, we're going to be blind straight ahead. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to have this do a really quick rough scan, maybe 4 points, and this will be my default object sensor during travel, which is basically just, is there something there or not? That'll just catch the front if a dog runs ahead or not. Meanwhile, these guys will be wall scanning as we go. So that's my best theory so far. Here's my math. I'm still waiting. I'm still using a crappy laser. I'm waiting on my good lasers to show up. I have 3 of them showing up at different wavelengths and strengths, so we'll see. But assuming we get a good laser, and assuming I can replicate what Gareth is doing, I'm figuring 2 meters. So there's 6 feet. And if you look at 6 feet on this grid, there's the camera. Basically, we end up at 9 feet wide and 6 feet deep, and not all of that, because this is 45 each side, and then the side sensors will catch this, the sonar. So really, we don't have much of an array to have to update over and over. It's not a whole heck of a lot of squares. So this is doable. And then obviously the next thing would be, I've got a full 180-degree scan down to 1.2 seconds. And so I think I can get that speed down, and I might be able to get a scan fast enough that I could actually even do it while we're moving, that what we've moved forward is not going to affect the results enough to really make a difference. That would be really cool. Oh yeah, and then here's my other thing too, is I'm figuring 10 scans per square, and then we'll average those 10 scans to determine the square. So that'd be 10 scans per foot, basically, or yeah, 10 squares for, or 10 scans per foot, and it's actually not per foot, it's per degrees. But it's late, and I'm 5.5 minutes into this video, so I'll call it good. If you've watched this far, thank you, and there's your update. Ding! Tired.